Hello everybody, welcome to Eat, Cook, Learn, Love Food. I'm Paul and today I want to share with you a beautiful Christmas tart recipe. So these are really nice little canapes to have on Christmas Day or for festive parties that are coming up. So what we're going to do is we're going to make beetroot tarts. So here we have some beetroot. You can actually cheat and you can buy baby beetroots from Coles. They're already cooked, they're not in vinegar, they're just basically boiled beetroot that have been boiled in salted water, peeled, and then you have these little beetroots ready to go. So these are good, they're quick and easy, and if you're in a hurry, you can cheat. Next we're going to have some lovely Persian feta. We're going to have some onions, bay leaves, some balsamic vinegar. Pomegranate molasses is also something that really goes well with these beetroot tarts. And we're going to have some pepita seeds or walnuts or any other nuts that you prefer, macadamia nuts. So to get started, what we're going to do is we've got to cook our onions. Okay, so we get a knife. So onions, half, like so. Okay. And for this recipe, we want our onions finely sliced. Okay, so this step can be done ahead of time, but what we're looking for here is our onions to be finely sliced, cooked in a pan over a low heat until they sort of caramelise. Okay, so there's our onions. Put a little bit of olive oil on those. And they go onto the heat. So some other things I've taught you is with caramelizing onions, they can be used for lots and lots of things, not just for these tarts, but what we do is we basically put our onions on the stove in a pan with a bit of oil, a little bit of sea salt, and yes, you've got it, garlic. What have I showed you about garlic? This garlic should already be processed in your fridge, shouldn't it? So, this will prevent you having to peel cloves like so. But again, the garlic that I've showed you in previous classes is where you get the garlic, you actually peel 20 cloves or so, or 100 cloves, pulsate them in a food processor, put them in a jar with oil on them, and they're in your fridge ready to go. It just means that you've got beautiful fresh garlic at your disposal. Otherwise, you have to chop the garlic up like I'm doing now. Okay, so the garlic we want a little bit minced, so we can flatten that with the knife. Okay, so that goes in our onion mixture. Smelling good already. One bay leaf, or 2 bay leaves. Okay. Burn the onions, we just want to cook them nice and slow. And like I just said, this process can be done ahead of time. So those onions can be in your fridge. It's probably a good thing to have. Get a nice big cook up, do onions, have them in the fridge, use them for steak, use them for burgers, use them to make these tarts. Next thing we're going to do is our beetroot. So with our beetroot, I think it's always good to put gloves on. Gloves are a good idea because you know, you're going to get beetroot all over your hands and they're going to stain. So, we'll put these gloves on. Beetroot, again, we want to sort of cut it quite fine. So the best thing is to cut it, I'm going to actually chop bits of the glove off here. Make sure your gloves are on properly. Chefs don't usually wear gloves. I hate gloves. Alright, so we slice the beetroots first. Now you could put these in the food processor. I'm not against food processors, it's just more, you wouldn't do it for very long. It would actually, you would put it in Thermomix or a food processor just for a real good sort of 10 seconds, like Right, so this is our beetroot. Down. We want to cut them into nice little squares. down one way, and then we'll go across the other way. Our beetroot diced up for our tarts. Okay. There we go. Beetroot goes in. So you're nice and clean again, gloves off. So here we have our onions on the stove cooking away. You can see how they're just becoming transparent slowly. So that's good. Then we have our beetroot that we've diced. We have our feta cheese, which is beautiful. We have our little pita seeds. And little tarts. So just a lovely baking tray, muffin tin tray. We're going to put a little bit of oil in each one just to stop it sticking. Okay. And we'll grease those up. Okay, perfect. I'm going to buy a puff pastry with this. You can make your own puff, but really, look, there's lots of good puffs on the market. Puff pastry is the best. But short crust will work as well. And then it's just a matter of cutting there, put in our pastry like so. All there. Oops. 6 beetroots, little ones. We've got about 200 grams of feta. We've had a couple of sheets of puff pastry to make our little tarts. We've got our lovely onions cooking away on the stove. Again, onions like this, you can cook these for a lot longer, but you can cook them for at least half an hour. Really slow. Okay, really slow, beautiful, and use them for lots of things. This recipe, once our onions have got a bit of colour in them like so, we can turn the heat up to high, and we get balsamic vinegar. Now, a lot of you may know about balsamic glaze you can buy in supermarkets. It's a beautiful thing. If you use balsamic glaze, do not put vinegar on the onions. It's just a matter of about squeezing balsamic glaze on this beetroot and rolling it through. You can make your own balsamic glaze. Just get a vinegar, tip it into the saucepan, add a couple of cups of sugar to it, and bring it to the boil and reduce it, and you'll have your own balsamic glaze. This guy here is now reduced. So onions, balsamic, it's all sizzled up. Smells amazing. I'm not going to add any sugar to it. The beetroot's already sweet. But again, they go in with our lovely beetroots. And we fold these through. We add a nice grind of pepper. That one's empty. That's better. Okay. Nice amount of pepper. There we go. And putting gloves on again. You don't need to put gloves on both hands this time. And what we're going to do here is put our mixture into our tart shell. Like so. I like these for Christmas because they've got that real festive sort of colour and flavour. Oops. Our little tarts, nice and full. Not pushing the mixture in, it'll sink in there when it gets into the oven. And you can see the beetroot is still a little bit coarse, not really fine. Okay, they're off. Now our feta cheese, Just a matter of putting on big chunks, breaking them apart. No rules with this, you can put more on if you like. More on, less on. Okay. Lovely, don't waste anything. So there are our tart shells. So here we have a step-by-step way to make these beetroot tarts. We now place these into the oven. So the tarts are sort of half cooked now. And then we're going to put on our seeds, our little pepita seeds. These are really yummy. But like I said, our walnuts are really beautiful. Okay, so if you're gonna put walnuts on top, roast them beforehand, just so they've got a nice color on them. Then halfway through the cooking process, put the walnuts on top of the tarts, like I'm doing here. If you did have that apple balsamic glaze, you can actually squeeze that on top like we discussed. Okay, these are gonna go back in the oven. Thank you.